Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. Let's see if it's working. Please write down a comment to let me know that you're watching and that you can hear me. So I couldn't connect my phone tonight, therefore there's not going to be any. You're not going to see my palette tonight. But the bright side is that you're going to see a bigger vertical picture of the reference photo. Otherwise, it would be very small. So, you know, there's always, I always deal with technical issues. It is what it is. I'll try to do better to fix the microphone. The camera on the palette next week. All right, let's get started. And as you know, I will use the same colors. So titanium white, cadmium yellow, cadmium red, and ultramarine blue. So tonight we're dealing again with, we're going to practice again the shapes and the ellipses. Right? These are some of the most challenging curves to get right. Alright, so let's work on the composition. As always, it's very simple. It's about half of the tablecloth and half of the background. It's a little bit more of the tablecloth, so more than a half, less than a half. It's about half of the tablecloth. I'm placing the big shapes first. Right. Tablecloth in background. Tablecloth, so more than a half, less than a half. So that's easy. And now let's do the bottom of the cup. So it's about a quarter from the bottom. About this, and then let's simplify. Let's put it 1/4 from the top. So it's about a quarter from the bottom. Now, the left side, same. It's about a quarter from the left side, from the edge. Let's put it 1/4 from. And it's the same thing for the right side, about a quarter from the edge. Now, the left side, the top of the glass is wider, so let's simplify and let's do 1/8 from the edge, and the same thing on the right side, 1/8 from the edge. The top of the glass is wider, so let's simplify and let's do 1/8 from the edge, and the same thing on the right. So it's always approximate from the edge. You can refine the distances like so. You can sketch more, or you can refine, adjust the distances and the proportions as you go. You can refine the distances, all right, like so. So the big shapes, or you can the tablecloth, refine, adjust the distances, the background, the proportions as you go. The size of the cup, about a quarter from the bottom, a quarter from the top, the big shapes, a quarter from the left side, a quarter from the right side, and 1/8 from the edge for the left side, and 1/8 from the right side. A quarter from the top. You can eyeball that it's in proportion. If you imagine the straight line and the curves and the straight line, you know that it's in proportion. The left side and 1/8 from the. Now let's look at the ellipse. Right side. Quarter from the top. You can eyeball that it's in proportion. If you imagine. So that's an orangey brownish and a straight line. You know that it's in proportion. For the cup with a lot of white, that's why I'm gonna sketch the outline with an orangey brownish. So what's next? You have the top. So that's an orangey brownish. The top, it's about 1/3 from the top. For the cup with by top, I mean the rim. That's what I'm gonna. So you have 1/3 from the top. The outline within. And 2/3 as the bottom of the cup. So what's next? Now the top of the liquid. The top, it's about. It doesn't seem like that, but it's actually half of the cup. So you half and half. And 2/3. It seems less because you have two lines here with the rim, and that's distracting. You can also see that it almost the top of the liquid almost lines up with the top of the tablecloth. It seems less because you have two lines here with the rim, and that's distracting. It doesn't have to be precise, but gives you an idea how to get the design and the proportions easily, if not quickly. The top of the tablecloth. So next we're going to work on the ellipses. You have two, the rim and the liquid. But before we do that, I want to outline the glass itself. So next we're going to work on the. So I'm using a orange brownish because it's iced tea. I'm going to connect the bottom to the rim. But before we do that, I want to outline the glass itself. Like so. I will do the same thing orange brownish for the right side. Bottom to the rim. Like so. So far so good. I'm going slow so we can I will do the same thing follow for the right side. Bottom. So that's a simple composition. Simple subject, but you still have to work on the distances to get the proportions right. I'm going slow so we can and the composition. Now let's connect the bottom. So it's a curve like a subject. Emoji smile. The distances to get the proportions right. So once you painted the bottom here, now let's connect the bottom. Your ellipses have to be parallel to this curve. Right? You can't do something like that. Otherwise, it's not going to work, obviously. So once you painted the it seems obvious, but when you sketch it, sometimes you mess it up. Have to be parallel to this curve. Right? So the best way to get the ellipse right is to place the ends. Otherwise, it's not going to work. In this case, it seems obvious. I'm going to use a light blue so we can see better. you mess it up. You could trace an horizontal line. You place a dot on the rim on the left side and a dot on the rim on the right side. You're going to trace an horizontal line. Make sure it's parallel to the edge here. You place a dot on the rim on the left side and a dot on the rim on the right side. You have the top of the rim and the bottom of the rim. So now you're going to draw like a target. So you place a dot in the center. Parallel to the edge here. The center here. You place your dot and you trace a vertical line. You have the top of the rim and the bottom of the rim. So now you're going to draw like a target. So now you have a nice target dot in the center. Parallel to the edge here. The center here. Place your dot and you trace next a vertical line. You're going to connect the ends, all the dots. On the left side, you're going from A to B, and now you're going to connect from B to C, all the dots. Next, from C on the left side, you're going from A to B to D, and lastly, from B to C, from D to A. Next, from C. Does it make sense? You trace your target and you connect with dots. And lastly, from D to A. So don't pay attention to this orange line. All right. We're gonna do the top of the liquid. You trace your target, right? And you connect. And can you see that the top of the liquid lines up actually with the middle horizontal line of the first ellipse? So don't pay attention to this orange line. So it makes the composition even easier. All right. So let's start with the bottom of the ellipse. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's do the same thing. It looks like the two ellipses are the same size. So we're going to extend the vertical line. And that's what the middle of the second ellipse is. So let's draw another horizontal line. It looks like the two ellipses are the same size, like so. So we're going to extend the vertical line. And now let's connect our dots. So it's the same thing. You connect A to B. It's exactly the same curve. I'll say 99%. So I know there are many lines, but if you connect your dots, you cannot go wrong. You connect A to B, it's exactly the same curve. I'll say 99%. Also, there's a margin of error because we're doing a loose style painting. If you connect your dots, you cannot go wrong. As long as it's not strikingly off, you'll be just fine. Okay, I should have done A, B, B, C, C, D, and D, A. So you see that you have perfect matching ellipses, the top one and the bottom one. You would do the same thing here if the glass was transparent. Right? You trace your horizontal line. Perfect matching is the same distance from the bottom to the horizontal line. So you report the same distance. You would do the same thing here. And then you draw, you connect A to B, B to C. Your horizontal line. Perfect matching is the same distance from I'm going to give you a few seconds to finish your ellipses. You do the same thing here. And then you draw, you connect A. So for any object, you will do that to see the structure of the object. You could try on this tube of paint. Right? So it's fun here because you have 3 ellipses: the top, the bottom, and the third part here, and the bottom. You could try on this tube of paint. All right. Next, I'm going to paint the big shapes. 3 ellipses. Since it's transparent here, I need to darken the background. So I'm going to start with the background. It's not going to be a pure, solid black. I'm going to make it a little bit warmer, either more reddish or orangish. Since it's transparent here, then I'll paint the tablecloth. I'm going to start with the background, the iced tea, and then the glass and the transparent effects and the reflections. Reddish or orangish. All right, so let's do a dark gray. Do you remember my favorite way to make gray? I mix yellow and blue. I get a dark green, to which I add red, and I get a beautiful brown. Remember my favorite way to make. Don't use too much red, otherwise it's going to be a brown reddish. And blue. I get a dark green. So I'm adding more blue to have a darker brown. And I get a beautiful brown. So it's a little bit brownish, small brownish and gray, but that's fine because I'm going for a warmer background. So I'm adding more blue to have a darker brown. So when I add white to it, I actually get a nice gray. So my mix of blue, yellow and red was good. Alright. I keep things simple, remember? So I'm painting an abstract-ish textured background. So my mix of blue, yellow and red was good. Instead of solid, boring black background. Remember, so I'm painting an abstract-ish textured. Sorry for the glare here. Background. But I like the gray that I got. So let's make more. Instead of solid, boring yellow, blue, I get green, I add red. Sorry for the glare here. I have a nice brown, add more blue, and get the nice dark gray. So let's make more. Yellow, blue, I'm going to paint this side slightly lighter because the light source is on the left side. So the background is lighter on this side. I'm going to paint this side slightly. That's easy. You've seen me because the light source is doing this many times in my previous demos, so it's just fun to paint with textures, create color variations. Doing this many times in my previous demos, so I'm gonna add more brown. It's just fun, and a little bit of red to make the background more interesting. Textures, create color variations instead of just gray. It's hard to see with the glare, but yeah, I think it's a nice textured background. All right, that's good enough. Let's paint the tablecloth. It's very white, a little bit yellowish, but still white, so I'm going to make it warmer. Right? I'm going to add some yellow. I'm going to paint more yellow than what you see on the reference photo. Since I still have my gray here on my brush, I'm going to add some red and yellow to my gray. I'm going to paint the shadow here. Since I still have my gray here on my brush, so can you see that the liquid or the glass is transparent here, so the color is lighter, but the edge, the bottom of the glass being thicker, it casts a strong shadow. So can you see that the liquid, two strong shadows, bottom and top. So the color is lighter, but the edge. Right. So now I can add more white to my brush. I don't rinse it. Strong shadow. I'm gonna add a lot of white. Two strong shadows. Bottom. I want to keep some colors, some yellow, orange, yellowish, reddish color on my brush. So it's not just white. I'm gonna add a lot of white. So I paint the middle of the shadow here. I want to keep some color. And then gradually I'm gonna add orange, white, reddish color on my brush. So it's not just white. So it's a little bit darker around the cup. And then gradually I'm gonna add. That's there's a light shadow actually from the base of the glass here. If you don't see it, that's fine. I just wanted to point that out. So it's a little bit darker around. Now let's add more white. Right, the light source being from the left. That's there's a light shadow all this side and the background base of the glass here is lighter. If you don't see it, that's fine. I just wanted to point that out. So it's a little bit darker around. Now let's add more white. Okay. The light source being from the left. There's a light shadow all this side and the background. More white is lighter. If you don't see it, that's fine. I just wanted to point that out. And this side is going to be much lighter. With a little bit of yellow, because I said I wanted to keep it, to give a warm tone to it. So I'm adding a little bit of yellow and red. And this side is going to be much lighter. With a little bit of yellow, because I said I wanted to keep it. Also this side, right? Warm tone to it. So it's technically a little bit yellow and red. Darker because it's farther from the light source. So let me set the light. Maybe you can see better. Also this side. I have light, my spotlight from above now. It's technically a little bit darker because it's farther from the light source. Set the light. Maybe you can see better. There you go. A little bit of yellow. It's nicer than just a boring white. And I need to make the left side brighter with a little bit of yellow as well. There you go. A little bit of yellow. It's nicer than just a boring white. And I need to make the left side. Isn't it fun when you do that? You don't have to think about being precise and. All right. Now I want to soften the shadows here. It's too strong. It stands out too much. So I'm just going to add my the white yellow I had there and blend with the gray shadow. Now I want to soften the shadows here. It's too strong. It stands out too much. So the gray shadow shows through. The white yellow I had there. And I get a nice soft shadow. The gray shadow. Now I want to soften the shadows here. Let's do the same thing here. Top. The gray shadow shows through. This can stay as is because that's the reflection of the liquid. So that's a nice shadow. I like the tablecloth. I'm going to make this a little bit lighter. This can stay as is. I think this is too bright. I need to soften that. The liquid. So I could make this side brighter, but then it'd be like too bright. So I'd rather darken this, the top part here. I'm going to make this a little bit lighter, which I do by adding, I think this is too bright. I need to soften a little bit of white to the gray I had for the shadow. So I could make this side brighter, but then it'd be like too bright. So I'd rather darken this, the top part here. It looks brighter on the screen also because the light, my spotlight is on this side of the painting. Right? But in person it looks lighter and darker. My spotlight is on this side of the painting. There you go. All right. So I want to paint the transparent glass on this side. So I'm going back to my grayish background. And I need to add white because it's transparent. So I need a lighter gray. So I want to paint the transparent glass on this side. So that's above the liquid. Grayish background. And I need to painting add white because it's transparent. So dark parts. So I want to paint the transparent glass on this side. Like that. So that's above the liquid. And then I'm going to add more gray, light gray, to create the texture of the glass. Like that. You don't have to paint exactly the same patterns. You just want to show that it's transparent above the liquid, so we see more of the background. And here you have some marks on the glass in small light gray or white patterns. You just want to show that it's transparent above the liquid, so we see more of the background. And here you have some marks on the glass in small light gray or white. All right, let's paint more background right below the rim. So I'm going back with my dark gray. So you see how it's working now? Alright, let's paint my background right below the rim. So I'm going back with my dark gray. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds to finish the top. Where it's darker, I could make it darker while I'm at it. It's going to create more depth and also show that it's more transparent. Finish the top. Where it's darker, I could make it darker. So it even works as the rim is orange. Okay. You can clearly see that the element is glass. Right. Okay, let's bring more contrast by painting now the liquid on the ellipse and at the bottom, of course. We'll paint the ice cubes last. And the outline last, or the whites last. Okay, let's bring more contrast. It's always a matter of contrast, darks and lights, regardless of the color. It could be a black and white painting, it could be purple and green, as long as you see enough contrast, light and dark, textures and reflections. The brain sees it reads as a cup with liquid, and of course the shape of the cup. Painting, it could be purple and green. I still haven't rinsed my brush. I'm going to add orange and yellow to it and paint the darkest parts of the liquid. With liquid, and of course the shape of the cup. It's nicer and you get rich colors if you leave orange and yellow to it, the previous colors on your brush. Unless of course you just paint black and white and pure colors. So then you need clean brushes. It's nicer and you get rich colors if you leave orange. So I had the previous colors gray on your brush. I added yellow and red, and now look at the beautiful brownish, orangish liquid I have. So I haven't done any ellipse here, but it's obvious that I have to follow the bottom of the ellipse. I make sure I have enough room to paint the white reflection. So I'm going to paint to the edge. So I haven't done any ellipse here, but it's obvious that I have to follow brownish, orangish color of the ellipse. I make sure I have enough room to paint the white reflection. And then to the edge. So at the top here. So it's almost the center. And then on the right, on the left side of my center line, I have a dark brown. So I'm adding more blue to my brownish red to paint a darker
and then on the right, on the left side,
shape right there.
have a dark brown. So I'm adding more blue to my brownish
Before I
red.
forget, the last darkest part is the bottom. So I just follow my sketch, the ellipse.
Right there.
So let me know in the comment if you practiced painting with one brush only, and better yet,
Is the bottom.
a big one.
So I just follow my
That's a half-inch wide
ellipse.
brush.
So let me know in the comment if
I
you
think that's good enough for the darkest
painting
parts.
with
Now I'm gonna paint
one brush only.
the light red orangey liquid.
That's a half-inch wide brush.
So this time I think I'm gonna clean my brush a little bit. Just quickly
I think
in
that's
the
good
cup.
enough for the darkest parts. Now I'm gonna paint one.
Okay, it doesn't have to be super
light,
clean. I just got rid of the dark brown and the grayish.
That's a half-inch.
You want a nice
So this time I think I'm gonna
red,
clean my brush a little
orangey,
bit.
brownish color.
Just quickly.
So red,
Cup.
yellow.
Okay, it doesn't
So
have
of
to be
course it's
super
too
clean.
orange.
I just
I'm gonna
got rid
add
of the
my dark brown
and the grayish. You want a nice
to dull,
red, orangey, brownish
to
color.
make it less bright.
Just quickly.
So red, yellow. Oh. I'm gonna rinse my brush
Of course it's too orange.
to show you
I'm gonna add
what I had
dark
first.
brown and the grayish.
So
To dull red, orangey, brownish color. To make it less
yellow
bright.
and red only. That's nice, but it's too bright.
I'm gonna rinse my brush.
So I added a little bit of
show you
my dark brown,
what I had first.
and that's how I got this darker brown.
Dull,
A dull orange, I'm sorry.
make it less yellow and red.
So you don't want it too dull because you still want the
That's nice, but it's too bright.
orange red to
So
be like
I added
bright
a little bit of
and
dark brown,
look
and that's how I got this darker
look like liquid.
a dull orange. I'm sorry.
So I paint in different directions to show that
So you don't want it to
you have
dull,
textures on
you
the
want
not only on the glass but also the on the liquid,
orange red to be like bright and
almost like it's moving,
that's how I got this
and it does because of the melting ice cubes.
So I paint in different directions to show that
You don't want to paint just a
you have
solid
textures on the,
color.
not only on the glass but also on the liquid. Orange red to be like bright.
The edge is this
almost
color,
like it's moving.
so I'm going to paint like that.
And it does because of
This
the
side is slightly darker,
ice cubes. So I paint in different directions to show that you don't want to paint just a solid.
and then everything else is a little bit more dull. So I think I'm good enough.
The edge is
All red
this
here,
color. So I'm going to paint like that. This side is
or
slightly
a nice
darker.
orange,
Ice cubes.
so it looks brighter.
And then everything else is a little bit more dull. So I think I'm good enough.
I'm going to paint this with more yellow.
Right here.
So just add a little bit of yellow.
This side is slightly nice orange.
It's not yellow enough.
Brighter. Everything else.
It's too it's kind of dull, so I'm adding a little bit of white
I'm going to paint this
to make this
more
part
yellow.
brighter.
So just add a little bit of yellow. It's not yellow enough.
Let's finish the ellipse here.
It's too it's kind of dull, so I'm adding a little bit of white to make this part brighter.
And then my dark brown again to finish this side.
Let's finish the ellipse here.
I'll double check that it's symmetrical. Okay, the ellipse, the sides, and of course the rim.
Then my dark brown again to finish this side.
I'm going to finish the ellipse before working on the eyes and then the top part here.
I'll double check that it's symmetrical. Okay, the ellipse.
It's time
the
to bring some
sides, and of course
contrast
The rim.
to make the glass pop. Otherwise, everything is dull. Right.
I'm going to finish the ellipse before working.
So
on the
now
eyes
I've rinsed my
and
brush
then the top part.
because I want white.
I'll double check that it's symmetrical.
Maybe not pure white, but
The ellipse,
brighter
to
than
bring some
the
contrast
brighter than the tablecloth.
to make the glass
So-
pop.
So
Otherwise,
one
everything
pinch of
is
yellow.
dull.
Yellow because I keep
To finish the ellipse,
mood
so now I've
warm
rinsed my brush.
and a lot of
because I
white.
want white.
So the reflection at the bottom stands out.
Pure white, but brighter than the
So the light source comes from the left, but the left is kind of dull and the light goes through the glass. That makes this the right side and the middle brighter.
a lot of white. So the reflection at the
That's why
bottom
I start
stands out.
with the right
So the
side.
light source comes from the left, but
You see the
the
contrast,
left
how
is
it
kinda
pops?
dull and the light goes
And then
through
this side will be
the glass. That makes this the right side and the middle
darker,
brighter.
slightly darker.
That's why I start with
So for that, I had
side.
a little bit of brownish
You see the contrast
to
how it
finish
pops?
this side of
And then this side
the
will be
base.
glass. That makes this the right side and the middle
darker,
brighter. Slightly darker.
Now let's work on the top. Up, I need to fix this part here.
So for that I had a little bit of brownish
How does that look?
to finish
I hope you like what
this
you're doing.
side of the base. Slightly darker. Now let's work on the top. Up, I need to fix
Right.
this
So
here.
we keep working on the liquid.
How does
I'm
that
going to
look?
paint this part here below
Like
the
what you're doing?
the top of the liquid, and it's a dull yellow, reddish, orange. So I'm adding
we keep
white
working on the liquid
to
I'm
my
making this
light
part here below
orange.
the top of the liquid,
This orange.
and it's a
Right.
dull.
So white makes the ice very bright. So I need to dull it
Yellow,
with a little bit of
reddish.
brown.
Orange, so I'm adding white
And that's how I'm going to get the right color for
to my
the
light,
ice
orange. The top of the liquid, this orange.
right there.
So white makes
And
the
also
ice
on this
very
side.
bright. So I need to dull it with a little bit of brown. That's how I'm gonna get the right color for
Let's make it more orange. It's a little bit greenish.
right
There you go.
there. So on
That's
this side,
better.
so I need to dull it with a little bit of brown. That's how I'm gonna get the right color for. Let's make it more orange.
Now I forgot to paint this side in the middle.
It's a
So
little
I'm
bit
going back to my
greenish.
orange
There you go.
and
So it's
dark
better.
brown.
Now I forgot to paint this side in the middle. So I'm going back to my orange. And dark
I
brown.
remove the excess of color on the rag. I don't rinse my brush. And I finish this side here.
I forgot to paint this side in the middle.
Alright, let's paint the space between the ice. Right, so I'm still this dull
Rinse my brush
orange,
and I finish this
like
side.
so. like that. It's okay if it's too big, it's bigger because I'm gonna paint white gray on top. So
All right, let's paint the space between.
I just want to mark where
ice.
my ice cubes
This dull
are.
orange. Like so.
So that's the liquid, the top.
It's okay if it's too big, it's bigger.
Dull
because I'm gonna
orange.
paint white gray on top. So I just want to mark where my ice cubes are.
As I do that, I realize that this shadow here, it's too, it stands out too much. So I want to soften the connection between the dark and the light.
Dull orange. I just want to mark where my ice cubes are. As I do that,
I'm going
I
back
realize
to
that
lighter
this shadow
orange.
Here, it's too,
And
it stands out too
I'm going
much.
to
So I
try
want
to cover
soften
this
the connection between the dark and the light.
dark brown. I'm adding more red. It's going to cover better than orange and create more transparency at the same time. That's better. It's softer, right? I'll do the same thing here.
I'm adding more red.
Just looks nicer.
Better than orange. Create more transparency.
All right, so that's how we paint transparent glass
That's better.
with a lot of textures and almost like movement in the
I'll do the same
inside
thing
the
here.
glass. I think it's time to paint the ice cubes. So I'm gonna paint the dark first.
so that's
It's
how
like a
we paint
light,
transparent glass.
very light orange
With textures and almost like movement
because of the lighting.
inside the glass.
So I'm gonna paint that, and then this
It's
side.
time to paint the ice cubes. So I'm gonna
And when I
paint the
paint,
dark
once I paint the
first.
reflection,
Light,
it's gonna give the right dimension,
very light orange.
textures,
Almost like
and
movement
it's
of
gonna
light-
read like
lighting.
ice cubes.
So I'm gonna paint that, and then this side.
So you see what I'm able to
Once I
paint,
the
how much I'm
reflection,
able to paint with
it's gonna
this
give
big
the right
brush.
dimension,
I really want you to try
and it's gonna read like
and let me know how you
ice cubes.
you manage that. You're gonna gain so much confidence if you're able to paint a lot of things with just one brush
This big brush.
and a big one to keep it loose.
I really want you to try and let me know how you manage that.
All right, so now let's paint the reflections and then
And again,
the
so
details
much
here and there.
confidence if you're able to paint a lot of things with just one brush and a big one
As I do that,
loose.
I look at the big picture. I like my tablecloth. I think it's just the right brightness.
All right. So now let's paint
The shadow is nice as well.
and then the details here and there.
So let's paint the reflections. Just white.
As I do
I
that,
want the ice cube to stand out. So
the big picture.
although I didn't
I
clean
like
my brush,
tablecloth.
okay,
I think it's
just
just
use
the right
white.
brightness. The shadow is nice.
I might
as
have
well.
some leftovers paint on my brush, but that's fine.
So
There you
let's
go.
paint
That's
the
a nice bright
just
white
I want
on the
ice
left
cube to stand
side,
out, so
on the right side,
although I didn't clean my brush,
on the left side
just white.
here,
I might have some leftovers
on
paint
the right
my brush,
side,
but that's fine. There you go. That's a nice
a little bit under the liquid right there.
left side, on the right side. Although I didn't clean my brush,
And then let's do
here.
the left side here.
I might have some leftovers on the right side. That's fine. That's nice. A little bit under the liquid right there. Left side, on the right side. And then let's do
Now,
the
The right side,
the left side here.
there's a strong reflection.
Right side.
on the top of the liquid, right below the background.
Now,
So
the right
follow the
side.
curve of the ellipse,
Strong reflection.
one stroke at a time.
Now the top of the
And
liquid,
now let's paint the
right below
top
the background.
ice cube right there.
So follow the curve of the ellipse. Strong reflection.
One stroke at a time. And the ice cubes are done. I mean, almost done. I need to bring more contrast,
Top of the background.
a little bit of brightness here and there,
Ice
so
cube
they
right
pop
there.
better.
Follow the curve of the ellipse.
But before that, let's not forget the reflection on the tablecloth.
And the ice cubes are done.
So I don't want
mean,
bright
almost
white.
done. I need to
I'm
bring more
gonna dull it
contrast.
a little bit with
A little bit of brightness here and there. So they
yellow,
pop better.
yellow, pink.
But before that, let's not forget the reflection on the tablecloth. The ice cubes are done.
It's a nice reflection on the
I need to bring more contrast.
a little bit with
A little bit of brightness here and there.
tablecloth
Yellow.
here.
Yellow, pink. But before that,
What else? Oh yes, I need to kind of outline the ice cubes to make them stand out more.
nice reflection on the
So I'm going back with a dark orange
tablecloth.
or orange
here.
brown. Like so.
Yes, I need to kind of outline
The same thing on this side here.
make
More,
them
more,
stand out
more.
more.
So I'm going back with a dark orange
Or orange brown.
It needs also right there.
So
The same thing on this side here.
So
So it's very subtle,
more,
right?
more,
But
more.
I need those little shadows and reflection and textures, so it reads well.
It's also right there.
Otherwise, you just see shapes, and it doesn't stand out as it should.
So it's very subtle. Right? But,
A little bit of reflection right there.
I need those little shadows and reflection and textures, so it reads well. Otherwise, you just see shapes.
I'm gonna outline better the bottom. That would be ice cubes.
as it should. So it's very subtle.
I'm going back to
A little bit of reflection. right
dark
there.
orange.
Those little shadows and reflection and textures.
Not dark enough. Let's add more brown.
Otherwise, you just see shapes. I'm gonna outline better. the
So
bottom.
as a rule of thumb, you want to paint light first.
I'm going
Okay.
back to
Anything you paint light. Don't look for the perfect colors. It's better to paint light and darken,
dark enough.
like I do,
More brown.
than painting too dark and struggling to paint
So
things
as a rule of
lighter.
thumb, you want to paint light first. Okay. Anything you paint light. Don't look for the perfect colors.
It's better to paint light and darken, like I do.
Than painting too dark and struggling to
Remember,
paint
it's all about the impression
things lighter.
of things more than getting the exact colors. All right, it's looking good. I'm almost done. So I'm going to paint the
It's all
the
about
top of the liquid
impression
in the foreground,
things more than
side,
getting the
middle,
exact colors.
middle,
All right, it's looking good.
this side as well.
I'm almost done.
Okay.
To paint the top of the liquid in the foreground, side, middle,
It needs some brownish also
middle,
on the top of the rim right there.
this side as well.
It's needed because
I'm almost done.
it's gonna help the white rim. It's going to make it pop. So that's why I need to do that. The background is fine, so I just need to paint the rim
on the top of the rim right there.
in white, and then
It's needed
I think I'll be
because
done.
It's gonna help the white rim. It's gonna make
Right,
it pop.
so just white.
That's why I need to do that.
That's where the
background is
light
fine,
hits the
so
most.
I just need to paint the rim on the top of the rim right there in white.
This side,
And then I think I'll be done. It's gonna help
the back,
the white rim.
the middle,
It's gonna make it pop. So just white.
the right side,
That's where the light hits the most. I just need to paint
the inside of the rim.
white.
The light hits the side, but then that's the inside.
Back. The middle. Just white. Right side. That's where the light hits the most.
So the light
Inside of the
hits
rim.
the edge,
The light hits the
the
side.
edge being
but then
the
hits
edge being
inside.
white below the dark rim. That's how I complete the rim.
So the light hits the edge. The edge being white below the dark rim.
All right, I want to darken a little bit this part here to make it more transparent, like you see more of the background. So I'm going back to my gray, right? And I'm also gonna paint the rim
All right. I want to darken a little bit
smaller,
this part here.
the reflection
transparent.
smaller.
You see more of the background. So I'm going back
So
to
less
the
light gray makes the
I'm
rim,
also gonna
the
paint
glass more transparent.
The rim. I want to darken a little bit.
So the background is seen on this side as well.
This part here. The reflection smaller. You see more of the background.
So it's a loose painting.
So less
There are a
light
couple
gray,
details that could be,
the rim, the glass.
but I'm not gonna paint because it wouldn't make it.
So the background is
Loose.
seen on this side as well.
So I'm gonna check. The background is fine.
So it's a loose
Um,
painting.
the
There are
rim
couple
stands
details
out
that could be
well
I'm not
enough.
gonna paint because it wouldn't
I
make it.
can see my
Loose.
ice cubes. Right. I like the top of the liquid.
So I'm gonna check.
I like the
background
textures
is
and
fine.
movement
Loose painting.
inside
Rim stands out
the glass. I
well
can see the
enough.
reflection on the rim,
I can see my.
and then
ice
the
cubes.
base that is dark enough,
Right.
and the reflection
I like the
on the table,
top of the liquid.
on the tablecloth, and I like
I
the
like
soft shadow.
The textures
Right
and
there.
movements inside.
So I think I'm done.
I can see the reflection.
So
on
I'll
the
post tomorrow on our Facebook group
rim, and then
the finished
base
painting.
is dark enough, and the reflection.
I will leave in the
On the
first comment
tablecloth, and I like the soft
the,
shadow.
the URL.
So I think I'm done.
I'm gonna sand with a smaller brush,
So I'll post tomorrow on our Facebook group the finished
and we'll be
painting
done for tonight.
and the reflection. I will leave in the first comment the URL.
All right, I'm gonna sign in orangey
with a smaller brush.
color
And we'll be done for
instead
tonight.
of a boring black.
Alright, I'm gonna sign in orangey
Oops.
color instead of a boring black.
So thanks again for watching. Your support means the world.
Oops.
Et voilà,
So thanks again for watching.
that's enough. Just subtle enough. It doesn't stand out too much. It's not distracting from the whole painting. So again, I will show you the picture finished. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.
That's
Good night.
enough. Just subtle enough. It doesn't stand out too much. It's not distracting from the whole painting.